All right, at 7 p.m. on April 28th, 2025, we're going to begin this regular meeting of the Rutherford Board of Education. We're going to ask everyone who can to please stand, face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll ask Mr. Whitford to please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian? Present. Mrs. Cole?
Present.
Mr. Conti?
Present.
Mr. Healy? Here. Mrs. Jones?
Present.
Mr. Maison?
Here.
Dr. Racine?
Here.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Present.
Dr. Eladi?
Here.
We have a quorum.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Rutherford Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place posted on the bulletin board outside the Borough Clerk's office, mailed to the Herald, South Bergenite, and the Record newspapers, and filed with the Borough Clerk. Hard copies of the agenda are available in the meeting room, and the agenda is posted electronically on Friday before the meeting date on the district's website at www.rutherfordschools.org. Subsequent to the meeting, a video of the meeting will be uploaded to the district's website, www.rutherfordschools.org. The video link can be found by opening the Board of Education link and clicking on Public Meetings and then Videos. So board members, in your packets, there were two sets of minutes to approve: the regular meeting and executive session of April 7th, 2025. Are there any questions, feedback on those? Seeing none, I'll ask Mr. Whitford to please enter those. And I am going to turn it over now to Sarah Iorio, our report of the student representative.
Good evening. After returning from spring break today, students are feeling rested and ready for the last part of the school year. Spring sports are in full swing, and some of the senior nights are happening this week. Washington School held their Discovery Day before break, which included various science-based activities. RHS students in AP Chemistry, as well as those involved in Heroes and Cool Kids, volunteered to help out, and it was a great day. Many RHS students have signed up to be poll workers for the upcoming election in June. There was a great turnout for the November election, and this time it will be mainly juniors. Those who signed up are training this week. This week, also, the RHS Band and Choir is taking their annual trip. This year, they will be going to Washington, D.C., where they will be competing for the Superior Trophy in the High Note competition. The overnight trip also allows students to explore the city, and it's always a fun event that the band and choir members look forward to. Both the Spanish and French Honor Societies will be having their ceremonies for new inductees and returning members at lunch this Friday. Students will receive certificates for their achievements in their world language classes. Additionally, the National Honor Society induction ceremony for new members will be held on Thursday, May 8th in the evening, when parents will be able to attend. The new members will be honored and officially sworn into the organization. Students in grades 9 and 11 are completing state testing this week, and AP exams are beginning next week. Students in AP classes have been preparing for their tests the past couple of weeks, and we are excited to feel the accomplishment of having completed them. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a lot going on right now. Any questions or comments from other board members?
If I could, just a quick comment. In the newsletter that went out on, no. Okay, after all these years, you finally got your wish.
Thanks for letting check out.
In the newsletter that went out throughout the district, it highlighted a number of things. One of the things it highlighted were the number of, maybe I should wait. One, two, nope. Am I good? Yep. I mentioned that in the newsletter that went out highlighted a number of things, but one of the things that highlighted were the number of high school students who get involved with the other schools in the district, whether it's Hero and Cool Kids, Read Across America Day, Discovery Day at Washington. I mean, that, and the interaction of the older students working with our younger students as role models, I think is a great testament. And a cynic, may say, right, well, they're getting out of class to go and do this and whatever. But the reality is, you look at the number of students who volunteered on a day off from school, right, to work the polls. And Mrs. Jones can tell you that's a long day and a lot of work, right? And we have a large turnout of students who did the November and they have to go to training. So I'm very proud of the sense of community service that students have.
All right, well, thank you, Sarah. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. And if you have commitments you need to attend to, we understand that as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You're going to miss a really exciting
Have a good
budget
evening.
presentation. Thank you.
Hey.
When's the prom, Sarah? When's the prom?
The prom is May 3rd or Thursday.
Friday. That Friday is
Yeah.
last Friday.
Yeah, the last Friday.
All right. So our budget for the 2025-26 school year was given preliminary approval from the board on March 10th. It was subsequently approved by the County Office of Education. And so we are now going to move to a special presentation, which is a public hearing for the 2025-2026 budget. And I will turn it over to Mr. Whitford and move out of the way.
Yep. All right, thank you and welcome to the 25-26 budget presentation. This is the same information that was given to the board at our late February meeting and then at our March 10th preliminary budget approval meeting. It went to the county office, nothing has changed. It was all approved for compliance. So all the figures and numbers and stats that you see tonight are the same numbers that we presented in March. So just to give a quick review of our budget calendar, the budget process, is in the weeds more so in January, February, March, but it begins months prior to that. In November, the superintendent and business administrator meet with our entire administrative council on budget planning and needs and wants for the next year. December, we meet with buildings and grounds. We meet with the finance committee. We meet with again, following up with our administrative council on their budget requests, and they send them all to my office. January and February, Mr. Hurley and myself will review all of the budgets that were submitted and meet with those board committees again to reinforce what we've been hearing from our administrative council. March 10th, this board gave approval for a preliminary budget that got sent to the County Department of Education. The county really looks at it for compliance, making sure it's meeting all statutes and codes that are related to all school district budgets. We got it back on March 25th with a clean slate approval. I do want to give credit to Mr. Ryan, who does a lot of work with the curriculum aspect of the budget. The County Department of Education has a very, very high standard in Bergen County for their submission and how our budget ties back to our actual curriculum and the state-approved curriculum and our board-approved curriculum. They call it quote unquote hole in one, meaning you submit your budget, aligning your curriculum to the budget itself, making references to specific line items and to specific goals that the board and the state have been putting forth. And no kickbacks from the county office. Everything was approved first time around, which the county office really strives for. And Mr. Ryan, his first year incorporating the budget in his new role. So I just want to give kudos to him on a job well done for that. And then tonight, April 28th, the public hearing on the budget and the final board adoption of the budget. So with our entire budget and every school year, every school district, we really want to make sure that the board goals are reflective in our budget objectives, right? Some of these things are what the board goals are designed around and what our district goals are designed around. Our student achievement and our portrait of a graduate, everything that's entailed in that portrait of a graduate. Obviously maintaining and building on current program offerings. Community outreach was one of those board goals at the beginning of the year. Successful REA contract negotiations, which have been going very well so far this year. And again, providing a facility improvements, maintenance, and repairs for safe and secure school buildings. So first we'll talk about the source of fundings, then we'll talk about how they're spent to show where that money is going. 89% of our general operating budget comes from our local tax levy. 6% comes from New Jersey state aid, and 5% comes from miscellaneous revenues from other sources. If it's from grants, if it's from reserve accounts, if it's from any other revenue sources we might have, like Bulldog Care and things like that, to pay for Bulldog Care expenses. And then lastly, we do get federal aid. It is a separate fund than our general operating fund. So that money comes in for a specific purpose and goes out for a specific purpose. So any federal aid we get is outside of our general operating account. So our general operating revenue, which will match our expenses, is $57,231,585. The School Funding Reform Act of 2008 included a 2% cap on annual tax levy increases for school districts. They do allow for certain allowable adjustments if they're applicable from year to year. The board is taking advantage of 2 of those allowable adjustments this year, which include the health benefits premium and a small enrollment adjustment above state levels. So here's our dollars and breakdown of our 2% and those allowable adjustments. Last year, or the current school year, we have a $47.9 million base for our general operating and just over $3 million in our debt service from previously approved referendums and bonds associated with those. So both of those together go into our total school tax levy. We've used an allowable adjustment of $311,000 for enrollment, our 2% cap that's state mandated for every school district in the state. And we also have used an allowable adjustment for health benefits cost of $863,000. The 20-year payment of our bond for I'm going to say 2019, but I might get the year wrong, for 2019 referendum. Next year's payment is $66,000 less than the current year payment. So putting that all into account, your net increase is a 4.07% increase for a total of $53,051,903 for your local school tax levy. State aid increased 1% from the current year to next year's school budget. Again, at $3.3 million of this current year, we got $33,000 in additional state aid for next school year. The state, I don't want to say reconfigured their formula, but they definitely adjusted it. They took a lot of feedback from school districts and school boards and a number of groups that work with those parties to try to get it the most sensible calculation for state aid. In the past, some school districts were getting cut a lot of money, a tremendous percentage of their budget year to year, and some were increasing a tremendous amount year to year. And it really was never known or never been able to project very well. So they put guardrails on this year with that recalculation that no school district can lose more than 3% of their previous year's state aid, and they couldn't increase more than 6% of their previous year's state aid. So we landed smack in the middle at a 1% increase for $33,000. There was a lot of negative tone for state aid in the months before they were released in late February. So I'm actually very pleased with a positive number that popped up to make sure that we were at least sustaining or growing with the state aid from previous years. This slide has been used, to my understanding, many years in the past. And I narrowed it down just to the last 10 or 12 years that it really shows that the orange bar is the general operating budget, how we're only increasing very slightly throughout the years. That gray line at the top is an state aid as a percentage of our budget. So you can see it's been pretty stagnant as a percentage of our budget, around 6% for the past 10 to 12 years, which is great. That means that the programs that we're utilizing in the district and all the things that we offer here are known from year to year. We can plan better for them because we have a more sustainable revenue source, either in state aid or in a tax levy. It's not extreme fluctuations that, you have to make big reductions or big additions depending on your year-to-year finances. Our last piece of revenue is miscellaneous sources. We have excess surplus from previous years, interest from our bank accounts. Obviously, we operate our own before and after school program with Bulldog Care. We make money from that to use that money for those Bulldog Care expenses for teachers, aides, and supplies. We're using money from our maintenance reserve and capital reserve to maintain and build upon our facilities, and using a little bit of our general fund balance of $200,000 from previous years. This one's the toughest one for at least audience members to see. It's our budget allocation and the large categories that all those funds go toward. Roughly 75 to 80% of all school districts, but definitely for Rutherford, of our budget goes to staff, salaries, and health benefits. Those salaries and health benefits are included in a number of these categories, but overall 75 to 80% go directly to staff salaries and staff health benefit costs. The darker green on the top right section is regular programs and instruction. So the largest portion of our budget goes directly to our classrooms and directly to our instruction. The top left green, that's specifically employee benefits. Doesn't include salaries, it's just employee benefits. And we've seen extreme increases, which I'll talk about on our next slide, in health benefits premiums over the past 5 years. The brown is buildings and grounds. The pink larger section is out-of-district tuition and related services for students with IEPs. Again, I'll talk about a little bit later. But they include administrative technology, board office services, our child study team, guidance, athletics, bilingual services, special education in-district services. So again, it's just a more of a visual of where that money is actually going. Some of the inflationary pressures that the district has been facing, and we're not alone. I'll obviously talk about how Rutherford is handling them, but every school district in the state is really dealing with these same types of pressures. Health insurance premiums have gone up just over 45% in the past 3 years. So a tremendous amount of, again, 75 to 80% of our school district's budget is salaries and benefits. So a large increase in one of those categories takes a big toll on the school district's budget. Out-of-district tuition services and transportation, if we cannot provide specific services for a student, then we might have to find the proper placement for them at an out-of-district school. Those are all students with IEPs or need additional services than we have here. Obviously, contractual salaries, again, that large chunk goes to salaries and benefits. Utilities costs are going up across the state. I could talk about the school district, but also for you as personal homeowners or renters. PSE&G is, I think, slotted to go up, which they've released 19 to 20% starting in June or July. So you will see your personal utilities costs. We obviously use a lot of utilities here, so our utilities costs will also be going up. And general cost increases, price of eggs goes up, so does the price of pens and pencils that the school will purchase as well. Just to elaborate more on the out-of-district placements, students classified as special needs through their IEP or individual education plan. It's a specialized program that's not always available in district. We have a number of programs in district to help support these students. But there are some that need additional services that we're unable to provide. If that's the case, then we make sure that they're in a proper placement elsewhere. We use a number of resources to try to get that cost to be as low as possible, like the South Bergen Joint Commission, other public school districts that might be offering services that they can use. And then they will go to a private school for students with disabilities if neither of those placements are available to them. Included in our budget was a withdrawal from our capital reserve account of $1 million. Those include HVAC replacements and repairs district-wide, plumbing and gutter repairs, safety and communications upgrades, and then the state has an assessment that they mandate every year, $75,000. Our last thing that I'll talk about is some of the things that we always use in our budget, and just to help spread out some of our large purchases over a long period of time, are the use of leases, and it's primarily for equipment and for technology. The Chromebooks that teachers use or that students use, the interactive panels that teachers will portray their presentations on, or the students might be able to use during the classrooms. Our telephone system, our file server replacements that we had just done, our technology infrastructure was purchased over a lease agreement. Computer lab desktops that we'll be purchasing this coming year also be purchased over a 3 or 5 year lease agreement. So some of these things are tools that the district uses to have a large purchase stretched out over time, so it's not a one hit for the budget. Thank you.
As I said at the last meeting, I want to thank Mr. Whitford and everybody who worked in the Finance Committee, the board, the administration who worked on the budget. It's a long process. It's a very challenging process, as with the fiscal constraints that we have and the increases that were noted. I want to remind the board and the public that the allowance for the healthcare increase is about 90 cents on the dollar. So we're still several, what's the amount? Probably close to 100,000.
Yeah, just over 100.
About, over $100,000 that comes into that 2%. So without that allowable increase, we'd be at a $1.1 million approximately deficit, with another couple $100,000 that we still have to come up with. So we'd be at about 1.3 million. So in order to, we've used the line over the years of a maintenance budget. This actually is a maintenance budget because the rather extraordinary increase in health benefits is being at least matched 90% of the way with the allowable increase, which we have taken every year that it has been available to the board. Special education, about 7 or 8 years ago, we created a whole bunch of programs in the district, preschool, 18 to 21, multiply disabled classes, throughout K to 12. We were able to bring back about $1.2 million out of tuition expenses. Some of that, of course, there was some additional staffing that had to be hired, but still the net was probably close to $1 million. We are nowhere near the amount of tuition that we were spending before we did that, but we're getting close because tuition increases keep going up and up and up. And going up even at a higher rate than tuition is transportation costs as they are going up. So we do try to point families and students to our programs first, to the jointure second, because they are a little bit more affordable. But, there are certain issues that we can't manage, many issues we can't manage in a comprehensive type of school setting, and some that the jointure can't manage. And again, our job is to service the needs of our students. So those are some costs that really do create a challenge. And we are able to maintain our programs. We build upon them to the best of our ability. We can't build upon them maybe to the level we like, but we're able to maintain. So once again, that's the budget, Ms. Jones.
Are we getting any students from other districts to our Bulldog Academy?
Yeah, not a large number. One of the things that happened, we were one of the first districts, at least in this neck of the woods, that developed these stay-at-home programs, and other districts saw the success of it, and more of them are doing it as well. Because if not, if you throw an additional $1.2 million onto our expenditures, we're in this. So everybody's in the same boat we're in. So the first couple of years, we were drawing a lot more from the local school districts. More of those districts now have developed their own programs.
Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Hurley or Mr. Whitford? So I wanted to echo thanks to the Finance Committee, who I know worked with Mr. Whitford and Mr. Hurley during a few meetings to have a in-depth understanding of what the budget needed to look like for this year. And thank you to Mr. Hurley and Mr. Whitford for all the internal work you do with all the principals and administrators and supervisors to make sure that you're planning ahead. So I know we had an in-depth talk at the last board meeting before this was sent off. And so are there any comments at this point from board members that you'd like to make? Any questions? All right, so as part of the public hearing, we want to be able to allow the public to make any comments based on the 25-26 budget. So at this time, anyone from the public who would like to make comments, you're invited to come up to the microphone podium. If you could just give us your name, address, try to keep your comments to about 3 minutes. Thank you.
Frank Wilson, 171 Montrose Ave, Rutherford. It's been a while since I've been here, but first question I have is, could we have done a better job? And I asked your counterparts the same thing. You have a budget meeting tonight, and the council has a budget meeting tonight. So you can't be in two places at the same time, and you both share the same building. So between the two of you, I would think that one could have done it a different day, you or them. And I asked them the same question.
I can answer that.
Shoot.
I can answer that if you. We have a statutory requirement of when to get this done, and we have to look at our board agenda. We have another statutory requirement in terms of hiring renewals for the following year, and it really limits us to the last week of April. Most school districts are in the last week of April for the budget. I don't know what their requirements are, so I can't speak for them.
Well,
But this has been the date that, this date has been the date we probably used for 50 years.
and that's great, but can you convey that to them for the next go around?
I'll have a conversation with
Because their review, I think, is May 12th or 13th, where it's the town can actually talk to them and going over it. If yours is the same day, again, we're going to have a conflict that I just came from down there, so now I'm over here. And I'm sure not many folks are going to want to know that.
Yeah, I'll speak.
Thank you. But leading into this, I looked at the last few years' budgets, and I think the last couple, we were up like 8.9, and now we're going up another 4, and they're up 3.5 times 3, so that's 10.5, and you're up, what, 12? So between the two of you, we're up 25%, not including the county. When COLA in Social Security only gives you 2%, and we have 16% senior citizens in this town, I don't know how much more this rubber band is going to take before something pops. And I pose the same question on the other end. If we know that we've been trending at 4% and 3.5 every year, going into next year, you're another 4% minimum. What are you doing now to stop that from next year? Because it's going to happen again. You're going to have the same meeting and then want to take 2% over the 2%. So you're going to be the same. You might as well just draft next year's budget right now, because it's been the same the last few years, and theirs has been the same the last few years. And I don't know the new administrator, but your predecessor at one meeting said, well, we don't have to raise an extra 2%, but we can, so let's do it. We don't have to go exceed the 2%, but we can, so let's put it in. So he didn't have to raise it 4%, but because he can, they did. You're at a point right now that if you don't have to, and we've already gone up over 20% in 3 years between the two of them, you got to stop. Somewhere it has to stop, okay? I don't know how much more folks can take. Like me, I'm not working anymore. I'm on Social Security. I'm not getting this kind of revenue anymore. And I'm sure a lot of other folks feel the same way. So just telling you, why not have next year's budget meeting if you're going to lay another 4% on everybody? Why? Why go through all this? Because it's been that way the last 3 years if you clock it. So, thanks.
Thank you. Just a quick comment, not to go back, without going back and forth.
Thanks.
We don't know, first of all, I don't remember Mr. Kelly putting it that way, but he may have. Okay, I go back to the videotape like Warner Wolf used to say. We don't know what next year will bring, allowable increase. What I know is that if we didn't take, it's not because we can, if we didn't do it, we would be making $1.7 million worth of cuts, which meant we would have been devastating programs across the district. This community, our school districts, are ranked very high in a lot of these real estate polls. We were one of 100 districts in the state in the country to show growth during and after COVID, academic growth. I think what the value we bring to the town is quantitative and qualitative. But if we had a program that we can't run next year because kids chose not to take the class, and I've received about 30 emails complaining about that. If I had to come here and cut $1.7 million and devastate every non-required program that the state requires, I think we would have a very different crowd here tonight. So, what has to stop? What has to stop is 19% health care insurance premium rates. What has to stop is 18% utility increases. What has to stop is the inflation that we are living with now for 3 or 4 years. We don't have the luxury of going above 2%. We can only go above if we get this allowable increase. And the 2% cap was established 17 years ago and has not increased for 17 years. I don't know anything that hasn't increased over the last 17 years. So I've been saying for a long time, if the state would consider looking at 2% from 17 years ago and get more in line with at least 3%, maybe we'd be able to manage better. So, that's what we're up against. I get it. I understand it. I pay taxes too. But we have an obligation to provide a program to our students. And we lobby and we work with the powers that be. I do on my level. Matt does on his, to say, hey, can we get a handle on this? Can we get a handle on state funding? I mean, we got $30,000 increase from state funding. We're happy about that because we didn't get cut. $30,000, in a $52 million budget. So, maybe the state's got to look about some things about that as well. So I don't disagree that a lot of things have to change, but until they do, we're in a bind. Okay?
Other comments? Other public comments? Okay. Anything from the board? I don't have much to add from what Mr. Hurley said. I can just say that having sat on the finance committee this year and in the past, no one on the finance committee believes that if you have a 2% cap allowance, that we should take it just because we have it. And so I think that there's a lot of rigorous conversation that does go on in finance committee. And I just want to echo that piece, and hopefully it came through in Mr. Whitford's presentation. When the finance committee was meeting, they wanted to make sure that the presentation was thorough and spoke to all of the reasons why the budget looks the way it does. All right, so we are going to move on now to the report of the superintendent.
Thank you. A brief report, as we had the presentation tonight, but a couple of things. You remember CUSAC came to us early April, I guess, I forget the date now. I think it was April 7th or whatever it may have been. And one of the monitors was ill, so he is coming on May 6th. I'll be meeting with him. I've been told it's going to be pretty much a 4 to 5 hour meeting. And then after that, we'll be done. And then we wait for the review. I sent you all a list of activities concerts, art shows, things like that. Please, if you're planning on going, take a minute to check the school calendar on the website, because rather than me looking at 6 different school calendars, I'm working off a spreadsheet that was developed earlier in the year. And sometimes if a date changes or a time changes, they may update their calendar, but they don't update the spreadsheet. So just double check, to make sure that what I sent you, I think we're 100% accurate, but I wouldn't want to swear to it. A couple of items. Before I get to that, the Teacher of the Year, I had sent that information to you, and I do have the names here somewhere if I can find them, but very pleased with the selection. And those folks are going to be honored at a luncheon. I'm sorry I misplaced the names, but I guess I can do it from memory, but I'm afraid I'm going to, here we go. Thank you. Small print, I got my glasses on. So John Randazzo from the high school, Colleen Fensick from Union School, Jovan Eftimovsky from Pierpont, Jennifer Otto from Lincoln, and Amanda DeRosa from Washington. And those teachers will be honored with the other winners from around the county at a lunch on May 22nd, I believe. And then at the end of the year, retirement and on awards dinner that we have. That is in your packet as well. If you're interested in attending, please let Donna know by, I think it's May 16th or 14th, whatever the date is on there. And the date of the dinner is June 5th. Committee meetings, curriculum and instruction, 6:30 this coming Monday via Google Meet. Personnel at 7 and building and grounds at 7:30, all through Google Meet. And by the end of the week, Thursday or Friday, you'll get agendas and invites. I mentioned the newsletter earlier. I thought the last one was particularly good throughout the district, and they've all been, but I thought this one had a lot of different things in it, a lot of different focuses. We have one more digital one coming out, and then we have the one borough-wide mailer at the end of the academic year. There'll be a couple of items I may mention when we get to those sections in the agenda. That's it.
All right, thank you. Questions for Mr. Early? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to the report of the president. Want to echo Mr. Early's sentiments about the end of year party. It is a lot of fun for those who are able to join. It's on June 5th at the Great Cliff in Moonachie at 5:30 p.m. So RSVP by May 16th if you're able to do that. Wanted to just acknowledge, it was in our memo, all the great nominations that the Rutherford High School Fall Drama Clue, the high school edition, received, as well as The Lightning Thief. And I think next year is when Mary Poppins is able to be nominated. But it looks like there's a dozen nominations. So congratulations to all the performing arts students. In the next week or so, I'm going to be sending everyone the superintendent evaluation to begin completing. We send that to the state toward the end of June, so we have to get that done. Been very excited to always have everyone completing that, so that'll go out and it'll give you some time to do that. And then we will go over it ourselves, and then we will go over it with Mr. Hurley. And we have to do that before the end of June. Last thing, graduation is coming. There's a lot of upcoming events on the back of Mr. Early's memo. Always appreciate you giving all the updates, different events we can attend. And so just highlighting June 23rd, Rutherford High School graduation. Please mark your calendar if you haven't already to be there. Union Middle School is also coming up. That's on June 20th as well. So that's it for my report for now. Questions from board members? All right, hearing none, then 7:39 p.m. We're going to open the meeting to the public for any items related to the agenda this evening. No? All right, hearing no comments, we're going to close the meeting at 7:39 p.m. and we'll move on to new business where there is action to be taken. And we will start off with personnel. Mrs. Cole.
Good evening. Today we have 19 resolutions to be put forward tonight at the recommendation of the superintendent. Number one is to accept the resignation of a clerical assistant for the Bulldog Care Program. Number 2 is to approve Elaine Baldwin as the interim principal for Lincoln School, effective May 9th, 2025 through May 30th, 2025. Numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all approvals of replacement positions. Number 8 is to approve a long-term substitute teacher. Number 9 is to approve a long-term substitute psychologist. Number 10 is to approve the confidential administrative assistant to the business administrator. This is a replacement position. Number 11 is to approve the library assistant at Pierpont School. Number 12 is to approve a long-term substitute teacher assistant. 13, to approve 4 hours or more time for a lunch monitor at Lincoln School. Number 14 is to approve a transfer. Number 15 is to approve the following teachers to provide services at the new teacher orientation as listed. Number 16 is to approve a site director clerical assistant. Number 17 is to approve the following substitute teachers as listed. Number 18 is to approve the following substitute teacher assistants as listed. And number 19 on the addendum is to approve a guidance counselor at Washington, Lincoln, and the K Center. This is a replacement position.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Cole. Questions or comments from board members? Ms. Early?
Just a comment to welcome Ms. Baldwin back for a short period of time. She was an interim superintendent here 2010 to I think mid-2011, somewhere in that point. So there's a need for a few weeks and she was available, so I'm happy to have her back.
All right, Mrs. Cole, do you want to move those?
I'd like to move motions 1 through 19 under personnel.
All right, do we have a second? All right, Mr. Sprayberry, any last questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes on 1 through 12, abstaining on 13, and yes on 14 through 19.
Noted. Okay. Mr. Healy?
I'm abstaining from item 3 and yes to all the other items.
Noted. Thank you. Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Maison? Yes. Dr. Racine?
Yes.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Yes.
Dr. Eladi?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. We'll move on now to curriculum and instruction. Ms. Jones?
Thank you. We have not had a CNI meeting. We're going to have one next week. And tonight there are 3 motions set forth by the superintendent. 1, teacher evaluation. This Charlotte Danielson, we've been using that since 2007. We've never changed from the one that we originally took. Isn't that correct?
You want me to answer now or when you're done moving
Oh,
everything?
I'm sorry. Thank you. 2, New Jersey principal for professional learning process, and 3, home instruction for 1 student.
Now to answer your question.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
In 2000, actually, we started this model. This became probably around 2012 or 13, where the state mandated a change to the evaluation system, and they provided several models that you had to pick from. The 2007 model of Danielson, which differs a little bit from a more recent model, which I think is from about 2014 or 15. But some of the differences we found really were not practical, for lack of a better word. So that's why we're staying with this model. And so this is a annual, again, part of the new evaluation law is that every year for both the teachers and the administrators and supervisors, the model that's being used has to be approved by the board.
Thank you.
All right, questions and comments about those 3 motions? All right, Ms. Jones, you want to move those?
Thank you. I move curriculum instruction resolutions 1 through 3.
All right, do I have a second? Mr. Mazzone, any last questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Conti?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Maison?
Yes.
Dr. Racine?
Yes.
Mr. Sprayberry?
Yes.
Dr. Eladi?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you. We're going to go on now to finance. Mr. Bogosian.
Good evening. We did not have a finance committee meeting since our last full board meeting. Tonight on the agenda, we have 5 motions to consider. Number 1 is to approve an extension of an agreement between the NFHS Network School Broadcasting Program and the Board of Ed through June of 2030. Number 2 is the routine approval of bills. Number 3 is the February Treasurer's Report. Number 4 are the February budget line transfers. Number 5 is to adopt the 2025-2026 budget as presented tonight. And number 6 is to direct the business administrator to track expenses against the annual travel budget.
All right, thank you. Just a question about number 1. Did we have a multi-year agreement already that we're renewing?
We currently have a multi-year
5-year?
agreement. That 5-year expires this year. There's no fee to it. It's just our streaming service for athletic events in the high school gym.
Okay. Questions or comments from board members?
Is number 6 statutorily required after every time the budget is presented?
Correct.
Okay.
It's a statutory requirement to track travel expenses and dictate how much we've spent so far on travel expenses, and then the board sets a limit for travel expenses for next year.
Because that was just 2 meetings ago, we did the exact same.
Yep. So 2 meetings ago was to send it to the county for approval. This one is to fully adopt.
All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, Mr. Bogosian, you want to move this?
I'd like to move motions 1 through 6 under finance.
All right, we have a second. Mr. Healy? Any last questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Whitford, please take roll.
Mr. Bogosian,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Conti,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maison,
Yes.
Dr. Racine,
Yes.
Mr. Sprayberry, Dr. Alati.
Yes.
Motion's carry.
All right, next up, policy. Mr. Healy?
Yes, we did not have a committee meeting since our last board meeting, and there are no resolutions for this evening.
All right, then we will move on to buildings and grounds. Mr. Sprayberry?
We did not have a ground committee meeting. We'll have one Monday, and there are nothing to do.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to old business. Is there any old business this evening? I'll start with Mr. Conti and then Ms. Jones.
Yeah, right before the break, I attended the I attended the kindergarten center PTA meeting, and it was a great meeting. Just really impressed with all the things that the PTA is doing over there. They're doing an amazing job. I expected that, and it was really, really, really great to see the amount of involvement and the amount of things that they're involved with. So that's all.
Awesome. Ms. Jones?
The Union School Art Show, which was really wonderful. And the same night was the Popser, so I beat it over there, from one to the other, and that was just outstanding. And David Bogosian played the guitar. I'm only used to hearing him play the drums. I didn't see your Charlie. Did he do Popser?
No, he did not.
Okay.
Nope.
So those are our musicians on the boards. So anyway, but it was wonderful. And also Alea Jordan's concert at Pierpont, and Julia Bogosian was in that also. So they were very, very good. I'm always impressed. The kids looked so great on the stage. It was really, really nice. And that's my old business.
All right, thank you. Mr. Healy?
Yeah, something I should report. Last time I did go to the Pierpont PTA meeting in March, it was. And they too reported on all the activities, and they actually had a new book fair this year. April 30th is their band concert. And my grandson is playing percussion, he told me, so I'll see.
All right.
They're having a 6th grade social and a number of other activities. So. And their next meeting is June. Got it. Through them.
All right, thank you. Other old business? All right, hearing none, we're going to move on to legislative update. Anything for us, Mrs. Jones?
Yes, Senate Bill 4256 on 317, it was introduced, requires public schools to provide age-appropriate information to students in grades 9 through 12 on United States military and veterans.
All right.
I kind of thought we did that.
All right, thank you. We are going to open the meeting to the public at 7:50 PM for anything related to or not related to the agenda this evening. All right, hearing nothing, we are going to close the meeting at 7:50 PM. We do have a need for executive session, 2 student issues, about 5 to 10 minutes, no action to be taken. Need a motion to go into executive session. Mr. Sprayberry, seconded by Mr. Mazzone. All in favor? Aye. All right, we're going into executive session. Thank you.